you for tuning into the Royal Experience with Fireball. I am super excited that you have all joined me here today. It is amazing to see you tuning in and learning about all of the local heroes and the ways to stop abuse. The word here for today is refined. Our word today was brought to us by the Royal Hearts Foundation I Am Collection. At the Heart Center, the word refined is defined as an elegant and cultured in appearance, manner, and taste that comes with time and recognition that we are broken and need help. So today, think about the last 10 years, 5 years maybe, last year, last month, and compare it to how you are today. How have you changed? Has your outlook on things differ? Are you more cautious now? Are you refined? Today's guest, Miss Shametria, exhibits what it is to be refined. Shametria, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for asking me. I really am. I'm having a great day. Thank you.
One of the things that I started with this show is just to acknowledge the idea of the power of words, right?
Okay.
And I know that you are big on words. You know, you are a local poet. But not only that, you are so much more. You are an author. Mm-hmm. You are an advocate, but you're a survivor, right? And for those of you who don't know Shametria, and I'll let her introduce herself, but Shametria was featured in my first ever play called Phoenix Rising. And I remember when I talked with Shametria, I talked to her originally just to do poetry. And then she was like, "Well, I want to tell my story." And I was like, "Okay, so what is your story?" And she started off telling me about a story of domestic violence. And as I'm listening and listening to the story, I'm like, "No, there's more to this story." And so as a result, Shametria closed out my play because her story was so powerful, but it also was reminiscent on the idea that we do not know exactly what we have done or experienced as victims. As victims, sometimes, as you've heard in my previous shows, is that it takes a minute to come to that place to say, wait, I was victimized. Wait, yeah, that happened to me. Yeah, yeah. Oh, wait, and then you get triggered by another experience or another word, and then those parts of the brain are ignited. And she was ignited during the fuming, the recording and the rehearsals, and it was it was mind blowing. And when she finally opened up and gave us her, what we got was such a beautiful depiction of a phoenix rising. And it was nothing but befitting to let her close out the play that was called Phoenix Rising. Because not only what you get from a phoenix is the idea of a person or a bird that is on fire, but fire refines, fire cleans, fire perfects. We look at it as something that destroys, but it also, when you're sharpening iron, and you're creating and you're molding, fire is necessary. It burns away impurities, and she is such a depiction in her appearance, in her beauty, in her elegance, but even in her words and how she helps people. And I've seen her morph into this superpower, much like the Phoenix Rising, on X Men, just to even see the modern day Jean Grey. But I've talked a lot about her. Shametria, what would you want the people to know about you?
I would want the people to know that I'm an ordinary woman that chooses every day to make an extraordinary decision. I would want them to know that they don't get off the hook just because it seems as if I'm doing these amazing things. No, like you are me. I would want them to know that I'm connected to them. We are all spiritually connected. We all matter. And through that connectivity, all we have to do is be. And my goal is to change the world by changing myself, one philosophical conversation at a time. And that takes very much discipline and a whole lot of conversations, but that's what's going to change things. So that's what I would want them to know about me.
You know, you wrote a book,
Yeah.
Reflection My Eyes See.
Yes.
Right? And, you know, it is a beautiful story of a mother, pretty much a mother having a conversation with her child, or seeing her child through her.
Yes.
And seeing herself through her child. And it's the thing I think that touched me the most is that your daughter participated in the writing.
Yeah.
And I mean, and she was just up there like, not only did she just write it, but she's passionate.
Yeah.
She's really, really passionate
Yeah.
about helping. And I think that is definitely a reflection of you. Her idea of watching her mom survive and be this superhero and continue to help no matter what she's seen her mom experience.
Yeah.
And she still gives.
Yes.
And now your daughter gives.
Yes.
And I see how she cares for her little brother and, you know, and you, and just making sure everybody's okay. And, you know, it's totally a reflection of who you are.
Thank you.
Right? Tell us about your book and the inspiration behind writing it.
The inspiration behind writing it first, I got that book in a mental institution. I tried to kill myself. I took 17 pills. I got my stomach pumped. It was my 25th birthday. And I was in the place. I'd been there for 2 weeks. They wouldn't let me go because my ex-boyfriend, who, again, I'll get into that, the attachment and the abandonment, when you're used to having someone protect you and take care of you, when they leave, you feel like, I mean, I wanted to die. And I tried. And when I was there, a man tried to touch me. Something about that. I was in a place already, and he was like, I'm going to give you my number. I'm going to go in the closet. You're so beautiful. And when you get out, I'm going to take care of you. And this was in the place. I realized something about that snapped me out of it. Like, I don't know what it was, but in that moment, like, I stopped being a victim. Like, in that moment, I felt like he like, if I let him do this to me, what about the other ones? See, I'm a superhero. So it wasn't about me anymore. It was about this pervert. And it was about the injustice in this place because I have insurance versus Medicaid. Like, I just started dissecting the whole thing, and I got 3 books given to me. Like, I was thinking, and I was like praying and crying, and God said, I'm gonna give you 3 books. The first one is called Reflection I See. The second one is called So You Thought I Forgot. And the third one is called Beauty Inside the Beast, which is a tell-all from the strip club. The one, So You Thought I Forgot, is a forgiveness book. And The Reflection I See was a book on understanding the importance of us cultivating our children through seeing ourselves in them. So what you hate about them, you hate about yourself. What you love about them, you love about yourself. And they're innocent beings that are born into this world, and we condition them. We are that's our only job. Sex was made for procreation. So I don't want to get too off, but that was my motivation behind the book. And then my daughter was conceived through a situation that wasn't really my choice, and I kept her, which wasn't really my choice. So she's literally a miracle. And the way that I operate with her is that if I'm going to do something and really break chains, really break curses, really do this stuff, all I have to do is like see that I am her. Her innocence, her beauty, her charm. Like, I didn't see that when I look in the mirror because I'm so damaged here. But when I see her, she's the closest thing to source that came from my body. And the way she acts, if I haven't really taught her those things because of my toxicity, whatever it is that she saw, that's her. Like, I could literally see who her soul is. And I realized who I was. So that was the motivation behind us writing it together, because I'm like, it's so much more powerful when you have 2.
That is amazing. You know, this is so much that I did not know about you. And
thank you.
I mean, I'm lost for words, Shamitri, because I always knew that you were a great person. You know, you wear the things that you've experienced so well, so well. You know, but you have such a deep story, and to hear you, writing as much as you, I cannot wait. The Beauty and the Beast, girl.
Inside the Beast.
Yes, I want to see that. I want to read that.
It's about the women right now because they're so beautiful. I see their soul. I don't see holes in thoughts. I see women that are just replicating what they see on television. I see women that are just trying to find love and trying to do what they think a man wants them to do because that's what's been put as the idolism. It's false idolism. It's this wave right now of copycats. And so I mean, it's so much going on, but the beauty of what I want people to know is that you can change. You can reinvent yourself. Be kind to yourself because no one else is going to do it. Love yourself because no one else is going to do it the way that you can do it unless you do it first. People treat you how you treat yourself. It's a byproduct. So.
Correct. Oh, wow, it's amazing. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more from Shamitria.
Shametria Gonzales. I am the CEO of Spiritually Connected, and I'm also the author of the book, The Reflection I See. I'm so excited about this book, guys, because I co-authored this book with my 10-year-old daughter, Adriana Gonzales. Self-love, self-care, alternative healing is how I was able to heal, which The Reflection I See is all about everybody that has asked me about my book, it is mostly about the reflections that your eyes see. Looking into your mirror and looking into yourself and seeing that you are enough. We need more healthy friendships. We need to pull away from being traumatized and start the process of healing. And although my healing process is not yet complete, I understand now that it's a forever journey.
Welcome back to the Royal Experience with Fireball. And here we still have Shametria. We're back. And we left off, we were just talking about her experiences, her book. And one of the things that, I didn't get a chance to really go into was the day that Shametria and I had a conversation about human trafficking. As you guys know, January is Human Trafficking Month. And January 11th is Human Trafficking Day. And in recognition to that, we want to make sure that we are putting out as much information as we possibly can. But even when we work in the field, we don't necessarily always see and recognize it in our own lives. Shametria, in talking about her experiences in her past, realized at a moment that she indeed experienced human trafficking. Shametria, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yes, thank you for asking me.
All right. So when that day that you came to the realization that you had experienced human trafficking, what was that day like for you?
That day was it was revolutionary for me. I believe that seasons come in truth and revelation, and the revealing of that to me was just very hurtful because I felt like I'm an intelligent woman. I feel like I was just talking and like for you to pull that perspective from everything I said, it just let me know how much of a student of life I am. It reminded me of how much of a young lady I am. Maybe I had a hard life and I grew up really fast, but I still am a young lady. I still am learning. And it also made me look at my story different, and that's hard when you have to change your story.
So, without going into so much detail,
Yeah.
what was your story? Because from my understanding, you were in a relationship with a guy
Yeah.
who, in turn, made you dance and give your money to him.
Yes.
All right. So, what did those days look like to you that you thought that was not human trafficking, but that you thought, hey, this is just my boyfriend?
Yeah, I'll tell you, from the time that I came so long story short, I was about 17 at the time, had a fake ID so I could strip. I was in the clubs. I was still in high school, but it was just like house after house after house after house, and women recruit, right? So it wasn't a man that I fell in love with the ambiance of who he was. It was a woman telling me about this man, and me like being like, oh my God, like, he's so cool, like, like he'll, like, all I gotta do is dance, like give him my money. But like, it was him that told me I was different, I was special, I was smart, I was beautiful. He took care of me. He never beat me. He slapped me a few times, but I don't know, like, when you see what happened to other women, you feel lucky. I felt lucky. So that was my truth. Like, this is him, you know what I'm saying? On my arm, like, his name was Snake, and all the girls have this tattoo. So when I think about like how it could have went, I think that's where it gets scary. And also when I think about the fact that I didn't have to sell my body. If I didn't make money that night, I would, but I didn't have to. The other girls didn't really like me. So as a young girl, that made me feel like I didn't care. I'm like, like, y'all gotta, like, I get to go to the nice spots, but it really, I would tell anyone that is in a situation where you have somebody who is asking you to do something for them. He never made me. That's one thing. I would say to watch, first of all, their motive. If you don't know that you're being human trafficked, that can you leave? I could not leave. There was no, you're here. It wasn't that I couldn't leave. It was the fact that if I would have left, psychologically, I probably would have like tried to kill him. Like, everything was this man. Everything was attached to him. Remember, I told you, I said, my exact words to her were, I'm lucky. Like, I wasn't trafficked. He wasn't a pimp. Like, he let me leave. And you was like,
he let you?
Okay. And I meant that. Like, I really was like, man, I really told you I'm the luckiest girl in the world. Like, I was so lucky. Like, I had a good man. Like, even though I had to give him my money and stuff, like, he let me leave to go to college. True story. And I'll give a little context. Grew up place to place, home to home. Around 15, tried to emancipate myself so I could become legally grown. Started going into the streets, moved from the country to Dallas, started meeting men, particularly Snake. Started dancing, first waitressing, then dancing, then private parties, then if I needed to sell my body. And I did that till I was 18. And my mother, who was in a mental halfway house, called me because I had a full scholarship to go to college. Although this is my life. I would do school in the daytime, practice, basketball, volleyball, whatever, and I would strip at night. So I literally hustled my whole life. Because I hustled in school, I hustled afterwards. There was no sleep. I didn't do drugs. He didn't make me. But I drank. Because when I drank, I realized that that's a spirit in the alcohol. And I became that spirit. So I was loose. And you know what I'm saying? But I always been this person. Even when I was in that. And I think the most important part is the psychological part of how these men manipulate you and make you feel. Like, I would have never said this because I didn't know it was manipulation. I didn't know that he was like 42 at the time. He had sex with me one time, and afterwards he told me, that I need to, like, tighten up or whatever, like, that I was too timid. I need to take control. And, he was like, I'm glad I did it with you, because if I wouldn't have, you wouldn't know how to be a woman and, like, really, do what you got to do. The man ain't going to pay you for nothing. So, I don't want to go too much into all those things, but I'll just say that, man, if it wasn't for my mama calling me and being like, say, if you don't go to college, like, I promise you everything that I ever like wanted to do or whatever the case may be is worth nothing. Like, you got an opportunity to go to New Orleans, to Suno, where we at right now. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, that's so symbolical.
Wow.
That I came here on a full ride scholarship, me and that baby from rape, you hear me? And we was here 5 years. And I graduated from here. And I went on to do advocacy work here. And I went on to coach volleyball here. And I went on to, my daughter went through these trenches. Like, she really, everybody raised Avriana. She was at the basketball games. She was at the volleyball games, you know? And I should have been kicked out of Suno 30 times. You know what I'm saying? But Coach King and Miss Bailey and the lady that run, Miss Diana, that run this department, like, all them people looked out for me, man. They looked out for my daughter. So it's not about, like, I think the trafficking part is the part of what you helped me to realize, because I needed that closure. I thought that was acceptable. I thought, and the reason that it was a problem is because that's the way I valued myself. And with a man, I guess I was looking for a pimp again, and my boyfriend. I'm like, you ain't controlling, you ain't, like, I don't like that, it's boring. You know, psychologically, this is chemically. Like, before a woman judge another woman or a man can judge you or make you act, you know, it's a chemical reaction. It's fight, flight, or freeze. I grew up in survival. So it ain't no, I'm either 0 to 100. That's it. Yeah. So it's good. And the only reason I didn't do drugs was because my mother, you know, she's in rehab right now. After 50-something years, this lady's in rehab. And for some reason, I feel like when she's doing okay, I'm okay. And that's that connection I don't know, but I do know that I forgive her. You know what I'm saying? And the reason that's important is because I blame my mother for what I did. I'm like, well, she was a hoe. I'm gonna be just like my mama. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? She ain't about nothing. Like, you know, she shouldn't love me. She love a man. You know, but nah. She was a little girl who was raped too by her father.
Yep. You know, I appreciate you sharing this much, because I think what you just did for me is that every young girl who I hear, like, I'm listening to you, but I'm hearing dozens of girls that I've talked to, and I'm hearing it. And the other thing is, just in the last episode, we talked to a woman about human trafficking and her experience with girls who have come to Covenant House as a result of human trafficking. Same thing. They have no idea. You know, we talked about people who have the audacity to judge others. Yeah. Because you judge or you fear what you do not know. Yeah. And as a result, you look at these girls and you say, why don't they leave? You know? And the thing is, to hear you say, yeah, I could have left. Yeah. I didn't even damn know I was being trafficked. Because the thing about it is, people look at it and say, well, how the hell does she not know? You know? So let me tell you how she doesn't know. The reason is, if you go into the full definition of what it means, there's a word in there called coercion. And for those of you who feel as if you are too much to be coerced, many of you who probably are watching had a kid from a man who coerced you in believing that he was going to stay. Or maybe you are the wife of a husband who cheated on you because he coerced you in believing that he'd always be faithful. So I just said that to say how easy it is to be coerced. And so when you see that, I want you to remember that you can't judge someone else for being coerced when you yourself has some aspect of your life been coerced probably more than one time. Right? So let's be more sympathetic to each other in understanding that that's what it is. It's coercion. Whether he ever hit you or not, you believed him to know that he was aggressive and he was angry and he would hurt you. Yeah. So some people have never been hit.
Well, he slapped me, but the point of the slap was that it was easier than the punch, or like I've seen him like kick women and like make them do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. Like, I can't even. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know how to but. Because it come back. But yeah, I felt lucky.
Yeah, because I mean, the truth of the matter is, you believe it. They know the fear tactics to do. right? To whoop a person into submission without ever touching them.
And there was no Me Too.
Yeah.
Stripping wasn't cool. There was no Cardi, no Megan, and stripping wasn't an Instagram model on the way to success. I was doing that to eat. I was doing that to feed myself. So it wasn't cool. It wasn't a trend. I was the hoe at the school. I was you know what I'm saying? So I want to bring up the time frame too. Yeah,
definitely. So, just to bring this to a close. Okay. What I want to do is, I know that we are on time restraints, but Shametria and you guys is amazing. You've heard her story. She's an author, in all of that. But what I want her to do before we go to break is I want you to spit, because she is a dope but prolific spoken word artist.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. I mean, because they all have messages.
Yeah.
And she will hit you with them words now.
Yeah.
So
this one is called Generations, and this one was inspired through my spiritual journey. Mm-hmm. So how different would our generations be if we had been told that what lies between our legs was sacred? When it comes to people you keep around you, don't just listen to what they're saying. Go deep inside yourself to make sure your chakras are aligned so you can judge them based on their vibration. It's like the wiser we get, the more we start to realize everything the 1% been trying to hide. Hypnotized by media because they know how the brain is programmed based on what we see within our eyes. See, I was traumatized. Who would have thought? All the pain we went through was cast down through the heart. See, the blood of our ancestors, it still runs through our veins. We try to find a way, but we can't get rid of their pain. See, trauma has chemically changed our DNA, so I promise you this is important that I say. You must take care of me and I'll take care of you. But there's one task, we must take care of them kids, and if we fail that task, then the white man wins. Yeah, I said it. Then the white man wins. Willie Lynch said, turn them against each other based on the color of their skin. Bill Clinton said, 3 strikes and you're out. Say, where goes all our men? It was really hard to take care of our kids while all of our men was gone. But see, Willie Lynch wins again. See, his worst rule was to turn the women against their men. But what if I told you that you was worthy? And what if I told you that you was worth it? And what if I told you that if you would just be aware of what you put into your brain, your life will never be the same? Like if you focus on the positive and not the negative, then guess what the universe will bring? More of what you focus on. So think about that before you complain or do something wrong. Better yet, let that be the reason you do right instead of wrong from now on. Because I know that you know that I know that some people just don't know. So forgive them so you can let go. That's how the fight for freedom will be won. We got to take control, starting with our mind. Ashe.
So as we close, we like to take the show, and before we close it, we want to take any feelings that we have ever felt that is negative, and we want to take it, roll it up in a big old balloon. Take a good deep breath and blow it out. One more time. In with all of the negative. We know CSA, child sexual abuse and child abuse, is a tough topic. So we want to take all of that emotion and just blow it out. Thank you for tuning in and joining us for the Royal Experience. Please feel free to send any questions or comments to thatgirlfireball@gmail.com and continue to watch us.